Greetings everyone and welcome back to 365 Days of Prog. Today we're going to be reviewing Wolf City by Amon II.
Hi, my name's Naomi. I'm an avid progressive rock fan, but I'm a long ways from knowing all the prog albums out there. But this year, I'm gonna give it a try. This is 365 Days of Prog.
Now, I'm not entirely sure because I've seen a lot of people refer to this band as Amon II and just, discard the double I's, but I would call them Amon II because that's what I think is right. Anyway, this is Wolf City and here are some of my favorite bits from this album. So, coming out in 1972, this is Amon II's second trilogy of albums and this is their overall fourth album. Now, this album falls under the genre of krautrock. Now, what it basically loosely means is that it's a prog rock that comes from, a prog band in Germany. But, krautrock does have its certain sound, much like the Canterbury scene has its certain sounds, and much like Italian prog has its sound. They all came in the same time, but they all sound kind of different to one another, but really similar under the same subgenre. Now, this album features so many different players and it even features more instruments on it. It's like an absurd amount of instruments. Now, that is to say they do an excellent job of utilizing all of them and they, have those combinations of really odd instruments with one another, which you don't and you wouldn't expect would work, but they do. And I do really believe that they strive to create something that is unheard of, like exploring the realms of the unknown with their music. Now, this album is very imaginative and it's very bizarre in the way that it does things. I think that besides the entire ensemble of instruments that we have on here, this album also features a really odd mix of melody, vocals, and lyrics at the same time, things that would otherwise not go well together, but somehow Amon II just makes it work. And if I had to sort of try and describe them in any meaningful way that is resembling something, I would say that Amon II feels like the German Caravan. Of course, Caravan being the band. Now, right from the start, we are introduced to the vocals of the lead vocalist René Kaup. Now, he does something that is really, really lovely in this album. He always makes himself fit in the music in some way, and I don't know how he manages because this is really odd music that he's singing to, but he sounds good, and to me at least, I don't know why, he sounds like the male version of Annie Hauslam from Renaissance, and that's really odd, but that's just how it felt. By the way, there is beautiful sunlight on my face right now, like the sun has come out, this has been a rainy day, and I don't know, I'm really happy about this right now. And the sunlight's gone. But that doesn't matter. Another thing I have to say about this album is the fact that this is one of those albums which I much prefer the A-side rather than the B-side. Now, the thing is that the A-side on here really features something that I like. It has a really odd progression of notes, sounds, and melodies when one bar doesn't usually sound like the one coming after it or the one that came prior to it. And I think the music is very, very overall shifting and dynamic because of it. And the B-side on here just loses most of that completely and it goes towards the mainly, simple rock features. And that's pretty odd because I wouldn't really expect this band to go anywhere near, conventional ways of making music. Now, we do get some really interesting songs on here from the few that there are in this entire album. We have a song like German Bubbled Raincoated Man, which is an odd track and it has a guitar solo, which really, to me at least, felt like the guitar was puking out notes. It's really odd. It doesn't sound like they're being played. It just, spews them out and creates this, overall solo. And we also get the track of the title, which is Wolf City. Now, I totally understand why they decided to call this album Wolf City and not German Bubbled Rain-Coated Man, because honestly that doesn't sound as good in my opinion. But that track specifically just reminds me how well all of the instruments and players on here are utilized one at a time or simultaneously. I think this is really a grand album when it comes to the amount of effort and players put into it. Towards the end of this album, we have the few closing tracks on here which suddenly featured German on them. Now, I know they're a German band, but if you just decided to start singing in English, then going like and ending off with German is really akin to One Size Fits All by Zappa, which is really funny. And I don't know why they decided to start making German, lyric songs at the end, but I guess it's fine. And I like German, so I dig that. And then we have my personal favorite song from this album, which is Jailhouse Frog. Now, I love that track, and I think it's mostly comprised of this, huge build-up, which featured so many different ideas, motives going throughout it. It's like very versatile in the build-up that it does. And then it reaches this climax, which is totally unexpected. You wouldn't think this was going to be the way that this build-up would end. And then the song ends itself, and it's really good. The only thing that I have against this song, and the reason why it's not that great as it could be, is the fade out at the end. This is not the song to end with a fade out. This is a song that, has to go, and bam, finish off. It doesn't feel like a song that just, fades out into oblivion and, stuff like that. So it got 1 point taken off, and that's a shame. But honestly, that's all I have to say about this one. I know that there's another album that I have on this list by Amon II, and it's Yeti, and if I believe, this is their magnum opus, and I'm really waiting anxiously for it. Now, when it comes to the cover of this album, this one really screams krautrock to me for some reason. I don't know why. The imagery, the double exposure, having this, wolf statue, whatever thingy in the middle, and then you have this odd streaks of light over it, just really seems all that more experimental in some way, and really krautrock in any way. It's a pretty cool cover. It gives me the sense of this dystopian nuclear fallout for some reason, but honestly it doesn't really, revive any feelings inside of me. So when it comes to the overall rating of this album, I'm gonna have to give it a Better Luck Next Time 7 out of 10. It's not a bad album, it's probably not their best, and I can totally feel that in their music. But that's about it, guys. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and stay tuned for tomorrow because we're going to be listening to Anno Domini High Definition by the band Riverside. But that's about it, guys. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you all tomorrow. Bye, guys.